Okay, third time's the charm. Hey guys, it's Miss Delcambre. Today's Wednesday, September 2nd. You'll need your journal, pencil, pen. You'll also need your study guide. We're going to do a homework check. If you've watched the previous Screencastify from yesterday, I've already completed the notes. And then I'm going to be going over about 4 questions in your study guide today. Your homework is Prodigy. You have 5 questions on that. So please make sure that you go in and check your Prodigy, and it should say assignment for you to do, and it will be up there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our homework out. Okay, so let's get to our homework. You had 3.4, just the top part, evens only. Evens only, I told you, don't worry about the bottom word problems. We're going to do those together. So we're going to start with number 2. And you're finding the reciprocal. So 6, remember when we have these mixed numbers, we need to first change them into improper fractions. So 6 times 7 is 42, plus 3 gives me 45 over 7. And then I need to flip it. So when I flip it, the reciprocal would be 7 over 45. One moment. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so number 4, we're going to multiply 4 by 15. 4 times 15 gives me 60. Plus 1 gives me 61 over 4. And when I flip it, it would be 4 over 61. And number 6, multiply 8 times 7, which is 56. Plus 5, it gives me another 61. 61 over 8. Reciprocal would be 8 over 61. Okay, now we need to divide these mixed numbers, and there's some whole numbers and fractions, and write them in simplest form. So here we have number 8. So I'm just going to rewrite this. This would be 2 over 1 divided by 1 6/7. Okay, 1 6/7 is 7, plus 6 is 13. So that's 2 over 1 divided by 13 over 7. It's going to come up here, keep change, flip, 2 over 1, keep it, multiply, find that reciprocal, so I'm flipping it around. And then there's no simplification, so 2 times 7 gives me 14. 1 times 13 gives me 13, which gives me 1 and 1 over 13. Number 10, I'm just going to go ahead and change them right quick. So that's 2 times 4 gives me 8, plus 1 gives me 9, so that's 9 over 2, divided by 16, 17, 18, 19, 19 over 8.
The other day, and we were talking about broccoli. And goes,
sorry about that. Here we go. All right, so keep change flip. So that would be 9 over 2 times 8 over 19. Okay, 8 and 2 can be simplified into 4 and 1. 9 times 4 gives me 36. 1 times 19 gives me 19. 19 can go into 36 one time with 17 remaining. So I have 1 and 17 19ths. Okay, number 12. Number 12, I don't have to worry about making that into an improper fraction because it's already a fraction. So 11 twelfths divided by 16 plus 5 is 21. So it's 21 over 8. I'm going to keep the first the same, so 11 over 12. Multiply, and then I'm going to flip it. 8 over 21. Okay, as I see, 8 and 12 can both be divisible by 4, so I get 2 and 3. So 11 times 2 gives me 22, and 3 times 21 gives me 63. And that is in simplest form. In one moment, let me move this little deer icon. And finally, number 14, I got to change them into improper fractions. So that's 30, 34, 34 over 5 divided by 27, 28, 29, 29 over 9. Keep change flip, 34 over 5 times 9 over 29. I can't simplify, so I multiply straight across, and I get 306 over 145, which gives me 2 and 16 over 145. Okay, now let's look at these board problems down here. All right, so number 16, a concrete patio is 5 2/3 feet wide and has an area of 36 5/6 square feet. There's a concrete slab. Is the concrete slab long enough to fit a 7-foot picnic table without placing the table along the diagonal of the patio? So I'm going to draw a patio right here. It's a rectangle. What it means is you don't want the table to go this way. You want the table to lay horizontally, not at a diagonal. Okay, so if this is 7 feet, am I going to have enough room to fit that table right there? Now, so this patio, so that's my question, can 7 feet work? I have my information, so this is 5 2/3 feet wide, and this has an area of 36 5/6 squared feet. So I need to figure out, could this be 7? I mean, could I fit a 7-foot table from here to here? Let's look. So there's 3 pieces of information, but I only need 2 to help me solve this question. I need to know, I know what the area is. This is the area, and I know how wide it is. I need to figure out if the length's going to work. So I'm going to take 36 5/6 and divide it by 5 2/3. Okay? Now, I'm going to make them both improper fractions, which gives me 21 over 221 over 6 divided by 17 over 3. If I keep change flip, 221, you keep that first one always the same, divided by 6 times then the reciprocal of the second one. Okay, if I'm looking here, 3 and 6 can be simplified into 1 and 2, and 17 can be simplified into 1, and it can go into 221 13 times. So I'm left with 13 over 2, which gives me 6.5 feet. So from here to here is 6.5 feet. So this is 6.5 feet in real life, and this is 5 2/3 feet. A 7-foot table is not going to work because your table will be off that concrete patio, and it's going to be a little lopsided. It's not going to be level. So you cannot. So my answer is no, this would not work. You're going to have some overgap, some overhang of your table. All right, let's look at the next one. So the area of a mirror is 225 squared inches, and its width is 13 3/4 inches. Would a mirror fit in a space of 15 inches by 16 inches? So there's 4 pieces of information here, but only 2 pieces that I need. So if I have a space of 15 by 16, this is like my wall space. So I need to figure out if this is going to fit the mirror that has a 225 squared inch area. So I have my area and I have a width. I'm missing the length. I don't know how long it will be. So we need to figure that one out. So we take our area and we divide it. So 225, divide it by my width, which is 13 3/4, which is 225 over 1 divided by 4, 55 over 4. Remember, keep change flip, 225 over 1 times 4 over 55. If I simplify both of them by 5, I get 45 times 4 over 1 times 11. It's an 11. So 90, that gives me 180 over 11, which rounds approximately to 16 3/10 of an inch. It's about that. It's a little more than that. So my mirror has a length of 16 3/10. Can it fit in this place? Well, look, 16 3/10 is bigger. There would be too much. It's bigger than this, so it can't fit 15. And it's also bigger than 16. So this is also another no. This one would not work because you will have a 3/10 overhang from the mirror, from the wall. Okay? So let's look at the last one here. Number 18, Barney has 16 1/5 yards of fabric. To make an elf costume, he needs 5 2/5 yards of fabric. How many costumes can Barney make? Explain. So, in our first period class, we talked about trying to estimate and guesstimate how many it could be. So if we just rounded to these whole numbers, how many times can 5 go into 16? Well, 5 times 3 gives me 15, so that's close. So my answer should be somewhere around 3, and let's check. Okay, so we have the 16 1/5 divided by 5 2/5. So 16 times 5 is 80 plus 1 is 81 over 5 divided by 27 over 5. So keep the first the same, multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, if you look, both 5 and 5 can simplify into 1 and 1. I can take out a 27. Actually, I could take out a 9. Let's do 9. So that would be 3 and 81 divided by 9 gives me 9. So that would give me 9 over 3. 3 can go into 9 how many times? 3 times. So 3 costumes is what he will get out of those many yards of fabric. Okay? Now, we're going to go on to our review. So I want you to go to the back page of your review, which is question number 21, and I want you to cross that out. I want you to cross that out real quick. Okay, I also want you to cross out, down here on the vocabulary, I want you to cross out 22, 26, and 27. And where you can find the meanings of reciprocal, improper fraction, and mixed number, you can find that in your math information folder. So your math info folder, and that is in your Google, that's a Google slide. Okay, so you can go through there and you can find that. Okay, while we are on this page, I want to look at number 20. It says Sally has 8 7/5 of a gallon of paint. She wants to use 2/5 of the paint to paint the living room. How many gallons of paint will she use? And again, it says to multiply. There's a key term there, word of. So she's using 2/5 of that paint to paint the living room. So I'm going to show you two different ways you can do this, because first of all, I have two forms, and to multiply, I need the same format. So I'm going to do the decimal way first. So 2/5 as a decimal. Well, that's 4/10, which is 4/10. So I'm going to take 8 and 75/100, times it by 4/10. 4 times 5 gives me 20. 4 times 7 gives me 28. 29, 30. Drop a 0, carry a 3. 4 times 8 gives me 32. 33, 34, 35. And we need to have 3 numbers after my decimal. So 1, 2, 3. So my answer would be 3.5. And so if I look, there's only one answer that gives me 3.5. So my answer would be A. That's one way you can do that. And the second way is doing it as a fraction. So I know 8 and 75/100 is like 8 over, as a mixed number, is like this, 8 and 75/100. But 75/100 is like 75 cents. So if you think of it, 75 cents is 3/4, 3 out of 4, so 3/4. So 8 and 3/4 times 2/5. Okay, I've got to make this into an improper fraction. 4, 32, 33, 34, 35, 35/4 times 2/5. If I look, I can multiply straight across, or I can simplify. 2 and 4 can both be divided by 2, and I have 1 and 2. And 5 and 35 can be simplified into 1 and 7. So then I have 1 times 7, which is 7, 2 times 1, which is 2, and 2 can go into 7 3 times, with 1/2 remaining. Do you see how both answers are the same exact answer? It's just in different format. One's a fraction, one's a decimal, but I still get the same answer, which would be A. Okay, that's number 20. You have some of the questions that talk about reciprocals. Some are talking about multiplying with fractions here, or dividing with fractions. Let's look at number 12. Sanjay's dog weighs 46 pounds on Earth. Multiply the dog's Earth weight by 3,800 to find how much it weighs on Mars, and by 2 and 3,600 to find how much it weighs on Jupiter. How much less would the dog weigh on Mars than Jupiter? Again, this is a multi-step problem, and I'm going to show you two ways you can do this. So the first way is I can find the difference between what Mars' weight is, difference from Mars, and the difference in Jupiter. So I can take that 2 and 3,600 minus 3,800. So this is Jupiter. This was Mars. And subtract. And I get 16 minus 8 is 8. 12 minus 3 is 9. And 1 minus 0 is 1. So this is what the difference is. So then I could take that difference and multiply it by 46, which is the dog's weight. So 6 times 8 gives me 8, 4, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58. 8, carry a 5. 6 and 5, 1, 1. Drop my 0, 32. 9, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and I'm going to add them. And do you see how I haven't done anything with decimals until the very end? So 8, 0, 9, 10, 11, carry my 1, 7, 8, 9. And I need 2 numbers after my decimal. So there is a 90 pound. How much less would it weigh? 91 and 8/10 of a pound. 91 and 8/10 of a pound. Okay? Now, that's one way. The other way you can do this is take 46, times it by 3,800, And what Jupiter, this was Mars's weight. And then what Jupiter weighed, which was 2 3600 times 46. And the reason why I'm doing that, guys, is because I always like to do the larger number on top. It's just the way I've always done it. Okay? And when I multiply 46 by 3800ths, one moment. All right. I get 17 4800ths. And when I multiply the Jupiter's weight, I get 108 pounds and 56 hundredths of a pound. And when I subtract the two, 108, 56 minus 1748, again, I still get 91 pounds and 8 hundredths of a pound. So do you see both ways? And I can still get the same answer. All right, the last one that I'm going to do is number 6. This is also multi-step. All right, so this is also one that you can do 2 different ways. I'm going to show you 2 different ways. So the horseshoe weighs 8/10 of an ounce. The nails make up 2/10 of that weight. What is the weight of the horseshoe without the nails? So we need it without the nails, just the shoe by itself. Well, if we know that 2/10 is the nails, then 8/10 is the shoe, is the weight of the shoe. So we can take 8 and 2/10 times 8/10. 8 times 2 gives me 16, carry my 1, 64, 65. 2 numbers after the decimal, so it's 6 and 56 hundredths of an ounce. So that's one way you could do it. The second way you can do it is you can take that 8 and 2/10 and times it by 2/10, and I get 164. And I can take that 8 and 2/10, subtract 1 and 64 hundredths, and I still get 6 and 56 hundredths of an ounce. So do you see, I can do it 2 ways. I can figure out that 8/10 is what's left over and then multiply that, or I can multiply the shoe by 2/10, the ounces by 2/10, and then subtract it because I would be taking out those nails, and I get 6 and 56 hundredths, the same amount. Okay, guys. Tomorrow we'll go over our review, and also I have a Kahoot going, and I will share that Kahoot link tomorrow as well. Okay, have a good day, guys.